once again, as we're winding down onto KBIS 2025, one more preview coming at you from Designhounds Talks. I'm, of course, your host and the CEO of Designhounds, Veronica Miller. And with me today are Heather Shannon, SVP of Marketing at the NKBA, and Sherry Qualls, my trusty friend and partner in crime around the Global Connect program, who leads the charge on a lot of the Global Connect consulting with me. So we want to talk to you guys today a little bit about what's going on in international business that's coming to KBIS. And to take it away, I'll ask Sherry to give us a little bit of a background on Global Connect before we talk about what's going on at KBIS specifically.
Thank you, Veronica. Well, as Veronica has shared with many of you in the past, and Heather has come up to speed in recent months on, we've been working on this international business development program with the NKBA for close to 8 years now. One of the things that we learned early on in our careers, which go back many moons, was that international brands really were having some difficulty penetrating the North American market. And that's not a good thing for any of us, because obviously many of your clients and many of you yourselves want to have access to brands that are not necessarily, our traditional North American folks. We love them dearly, but we also know that there are some really fabulous brands from around the world that bring interesting and unique and innovative product forward as well. So our goal really in the last 8 years has been to create a pathway for those brands that are interested in coming to the North American market and leveraging the NKBA as a platform to make connections so that they can reduce their risk as brands thinking about coming to the market. You all know how complicated our marketplace can be. And so our goal is to simplify that process. And so that's, in a nutshell, what we've been after.
Nice. We need to write that down and do something with that. I really like that. Well, tell us a little bit about the universe of Global Connect at KBIS, as we lovingly call it.
Okay. Well, one of the things that's very exciting is that with the support of obviously all of our friends at the NKBA, there has been a renewed commitment to making sure that KBIS is indeed reflective of an international kitchen and bath show. We are clearly the largest North American kitchen and bath show, but I'm pleased and proud to say that in the last few years, we've really become recognized on the world stage as an international show, even by people like our friends at Salone, who pay us a compliment when they suggest that we are friendly compliments to what they're doing in Italy. And so a big part of that, of course, is by providing an opportunity for a number of international brands to find their way to KBIS. And many of you know, who have participated at the event over the years, that it is daunting. And as a result, can be very expensive if not managed correctly. So what we've done is tried to create a stepping stone that allows brands to kind of come explore, and then from their exploration, maybe take a little toe dip into the market through a small presence, perhaps underneath the umbrella of our Global Connect Lounge, which Heather will be talking about in a few minutes, and then possibly even moving into a country pavilion and getting more comfortable about how they really should and can collaborate in many ways without having all of the incremental expense. And then eventually, when they finally really feel like they're ready, finding their way into their own freestanding booth on the show floor. And so one of the things we wanted to share with you today were the opportunities for you to engage with these brands in the various different places. The first one is the delegation program, and that's not really something that you will connect in directly with, but we host a delegation program for a number of our international strategic alliance partners, for our Global Connect advisors, and also for Global Connect member brands, as well as prospects, people who are just interested in walking the show and trying to see what this looks like. And as we look at the delegation program, we're happy to welcome anywhere from typically 60 to 70 people from around the globe who network together and are treated as VIPs and really handheld. They get an opportunity to meet with each other, to have very personal introductions, and to participate with a number of the NKBA activations, including the Design Plus Industry Awards, and of course, the Bash, because they all want to go to the Bash.
Everybody has to go to the Bash. Sherry, I know we'll go to the next slide here in just a second for Heather to walk us through show floor programming, but could you touch briefly on what a strategic alliance partner forum is, and also touch on the international media tour, just so folks know that that's going on?
Happy to do that. So the alliance partners is very interesting. When Veronica and I began this journey, we quickly learned that the best and smartest way to really cultivate relationships with the brands that we were interested in nurturing was to work through their organizations and associations, much like the NKBA. And when we realized that this was the best way to do this, we set up this idea of creating strategic alliance partnerships with other organizations and associations like the NKBA in other parts of the world. And we said to them, look, we want to work with you and collaborate with you if you have members who are interested in market expansion and business growth into North America. We're here to be your resource. And we have now, I think, about 15 strategic alliance partners.
Can you go back for a sec?
15 strategic alliance partners who are representing Italy, Spain, the UK, Germany, Brazil. And as you would suspect, because we have so many vertical categories, many of the associations that we work with represent vertical manufacturing. So for instance, in Brazil, we work with the Natural Stone Exporters Association. In Italy, we have 2 or 3 relationships that are very specific to various clusters, like the bathroom cluster, like the furniture cluster. They are very different in the way that they set up their organizations and associations. And so in one country, we could easily have 6 or 7 strategic alliance partners, which is fabulous. And these are wonderful people that you will meet on the stands at the pavilions for sure. And if you spend time over in the Global Connect Lounge and in the kiosks, you will also meet a number of the strategic alliance partners. They're very important.
I'd add a little Designhounds call to action on this. When you guys travel internationally and you let us know you're going somewhere and you're exploring a trade show, always get in touch. You guys have a tendency to get in touch with all of us, mostly via Facebook Messenger in the middle of the night. Thank you very much. But do reach out to us and let us know when you're going to London or to Paris or when you're going to be there, because very often we can plug you into a panel discussion, a focus group, or something else. Germany, the German House Fair is happening again this year in September, and we would love to put together an international focus group of people that are visiting that show, which we would highly recommend you do. So it's always good to plug yourselves into the Global Connect program as well. Sherry, if you can briefly talk about the media tour too, and then we'll hop on into programming.
Certainly. We are very excited by the fact that both the NKBA and our partners at Emerald Expositions are supporting for the second year an international media tour. Highly recommend that when you have an opportunity to meet them, you take that chance, because they really are trying to understand a lot more about the North American market as well. We will have 10 guests this year. They will be in many of the VIP experiences at the lounge, as well as at a number of the NKBA events, including the Design Plus Industry Awards. So if any of you are at those events, please let us know. We'll be pleased to introduce you. They are visiting us from Italy, the UK, and Germany this year. So we're pleased to have them on board and are very appreciative that the NKBA and Emerald have willingly underwritten their expense.
Cool. Okay, so now I think we can dive in here. And you're noticing a QR code on many of these pages. So please feel free to use that. It will link you back to the corresponding KBIS program page where you can also RSVP. So over to Heather to tell us a little bit more about all the exciting programming we get to expect.
All right. Thank you, Veronica. And thank you, Sherry. So we'll start off with the basics. Head down to South Hall. There's a lot going on down there. The Global Connect Lounge is in the South Hall booth 1113. Very easy to remember, 1113. So if you stop by during the day, we have happy hours, we have breakfast events, we have brand spotlight events. We have meeting space available actually to Global Connect members all 3 afternoons. So if there's someone that you're interested in meeting with, talking with, there's actually a designated space for you to do that right in the lounge. In addition, we'll have some access to educational programming, and most importantly for all of us at KBIS, the networking aspect of things. And if you want all of the details on exactly what is going on, or if you want to sign up for anything, as Veronica mentioned, you can go down to that QR code in the corner.
And I'll just jump in with
Yeah,
Heather.
Yeah, we can go to the program.
Yeah, you can go to the program. On the brand spotlights, if I'm you and I have to pick a moment in the Global Connect Lounge, I'm coming on Tuesday and Wednesday morning because the Global Connect spotlights that are running during those sessions are really exciting. We have some fascinating brands coming from the UK, especially, that you will, I think, be very surprised and interested in learning more about. And of course, they are hosted by 2 of our Global Connect advisors, Luann Nigera, whom most of you all know, of course, and Greg Roll, who of his own right has a lot of experience in kind of what the Global Connect program is all about. So we're very, very excited to welcome them. And I know that both of them will be pleased to see you at the lounge for the spotlight.
And of course, brand spotlights is very similar to Design Bites. I wonder why, because we invented that too. But it is very rapid fire presentations from brands from Germany, the UK, Italy, and then through their pavilions, but also individual brands like Schott, Saran, like Falmec from Italy. So it'll be a good time. It's usually about an hour. Sometimes we'll run a little bit over, but that's okay. It's our party. We do what we want. But I do love Spotlight, so we'll all be there for sure. Oh, over to you girls again. Sorry. No,
Okay.
we need that scheduled somewhere.
Yes. Okay. So obviously there's the educational side of things with the spotlights, but there's also things that involve food and alcohol that are also educational, such as on Wednesday, there's a 3:00 event. It's hosted by Schott. Hit me with your best shot, which I love. And that's a bourbon tasting. And that will be both educational and kind of a happy hour event as well. So I'd suggest checking out that one. Same with on Thursday morning. Expo CCAM is hosting a breakfast and kind of talking through what they do and basically the ingredients inside of a kitchen design. Is that a good way to describe it?
And I guess too, to add a little more background to the CCAM part of the story, and I know Heather, your first experience was this past fall at Expo CCAM. Expo CCAM is one of the few international components, accessories, and semi-finished products exhibitions. And what's so fun is to spend time understanding what really does make that finished product better. And it's these fabulous ingredients. And Ken Bush, whom some of you may know as the guy behind Materials Pavilion, who's also having a Materials Pavilion at KBIS, and Eric Marshall, also known as kind of the closet guru, are going to be sharing the morning with Carolina Giobbi from CCAM, talking about all the cool trends that, were present when Heather and Veronica and I were at Pordenone in Italy this past fall, because those ingredients really are what's making the difference in these finished products now.
Great. All right, let's move on to the kiosks. So the kiosks are right across from the lounge. Again, South Hall 2111. We have 4 kiosks this year, which we're really excited about, from Schott, Saran, Installer Show, Falmec, and CCAM, as we mentioned. This just gives you a great opportunity to talk to representatives from all 4, learn more about what's happening in their countries and with their industries, and basically what's new. What what will your customers be interested in? And they really want to know more as well about the North American market. So this is where we can help them too. They may have questions for you about what are your customers interested in seeing? What are you hearing about? What are the trends in your part of America? Because I think one of the biggest things that we do need to educate Global Connect members on is, let's say you're from Italy. Italy is a very small country. America is a very huge country. So people from Italy may not really understand the differences between what a consumer in Manhattan wants versus Miami versus Dallas versus Seattle versus Chicago. We all want something different based a lot on the region of the country that we're in. And that's something I think that we need to help educate new to North America companies on. And going to the kiosks gives you a great opportunity to do that.
Yep. Absolutely. Especially the fact that we have some trade show exhibitors there. So learning about these two shows that are not necessarily going to be on everybody's radar is great. I know we have a lot of trade show hounds amongst the design hounds. So definitely keep an eye out for SICAM, keep an eye out for the installer show in the UK. But then also when you're in the German pavilion, talk to them about the German house fair and so on. There's just a lot going on, and we will talk about that in the lounge as well during my talk on Wednesday with Robin Rigby Fisher as well. So over to you again on the international pavilions.
Yes, so we're very excited this year. We have 5 international pavilions. We have a German pavilion and one of the Italian pavilions in the North Hall. And then we have 3 in the South Hall. We have another Italian pavilion, the UK pavilion, and a pavilion from Brazil. And each of them are showcasing multiple brands from their countries. Some of them are established brands that you may be familiar with, but several of them are brand new brands, which you've probably never heard of before. And their product offerings are pretty fascinating. Can we go back to the UK one real quick? Yes. So a couple of these brands you may not know about. Heideloo is one I find very interesting with a brand new product that I've never seen before. So I'm not going to give anything away, but I would definitely suggest checking that out. Obviously, Germany, they have some of the best engineering on the planet. Veronica knows this very well, obviously being from there, but they have a lot of very
engineer.
they have a lot of revolutionary products. And like I said, the UK, lots of new things that I think will likely be of interest to both you and maybe eventually to your customers. And then if we go on to the next slide, we have the other Italian pavilion in South Hall, and then the Brazilian pavilion, which will focus primarily on Brazilian stone, which is something obviously that country is known for and very proud of.
That was it from our perspective, ladies. I thank you very, very much. As always, you guys are invited to leave questions and comments. We will also post important links in the comments below. Hopefully, we'll get to see everybody here Tuesday morning in the Global Connect Lounge for the first round of spotlights, and then we'll take it from there. But please do reach out with any questions that you might have in the meantime, and also in the future on how to get involved with Global Connect. Heather, Sherry, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you.